Everyone, I'm sure you've heard by now that the Palisades Fire has been the most destructive wildfire in recent memory for Los Angeles. Driven by the worst windstorm in 10 years, the fire caused 12 deaths and 4 injuries. 6,837 structures were destroyed, and another 1,017 structures were damaged. The fire burned over 23,000 acres in the Pacific Palisades, Malibu, and the rest of the Santa Monica Mountains, and took 24 days to fully contain. This fire is also looking like it's going to be the most costly wildfire in California history. It's estimated that the Palisades fire has caused roughly $95 billion dollars to $164 billion dollars in damage and destruction. I've made this video to both show the world what my community here in Malibu and the Pacific Palisades are going through, as well as to show the sheer magnitude of this catastrophe. I've been a realtor in Malibu for the last 5 years now, and the devastating effects of this fire simply boggle the mind. So join me as your driver and my dad as your cameraman as we trek roughly 8 miles through the Palisades Fire burn site. We'll be driving south on the Pacific Coast Highway from Carbon Beach, which is in eastern Malibu, all the way to Real Rogers State Beach, which is on the border of Santa Monica and the Pacific Palisades. So join me and enjoy the video, though I know it's hard to watch. Now you're going to see just the tip of the extent of the destruction and devastation here in Malibu. As you can see and will continue to see throughout this video, some homes are in complete shambles, burned to ash, while their next door neighbor's house is unscathed, like no fire ever took place at all. The Palisades fire burned structures seemingly at random, but once it got hold of someone's home, or their car, or their treasured belongings, the fire burned furiously, relentlessly, and with no remorse. The sheer magnitude of this fire, seeing entire neighborhoods leveled, it's truly hard to wrap your head around seeing so much destruction. At this point of the video, we're on PCH driving south, currently seeing the leveled homes that once lined the coveted shores of Carbon Beach. Also known as Billionaires Beach, this 1.5 mile stretch is home to the Malibu Pier, Nobu Sushi, and because of its central location, all the best amenities Malibu has to offer. The properties you're currently seeing were the most sought after homes in all of Malibu, and maybe even the entire California coast. Homes on Carbon Beach regularly sell for upwards of $30 million. We're approaching Station 70 of the LA County Fire Department. I know I speak for everyone in our community when I say thank you to all the firemen and women who protected lives and property during this terrible fire season. The Palisades Fire and the Eaton Fire were the most catastrophic natural disasters that I have ever seen in LA. But without the fire department working 24-hour shifts, night and day, to try and contain this fire, the destruction would be far greater. On the right-hand side is La Costa Beach, home to the private La Costa Beach Club, which is that tan building you see there. And to the left, up in the hills, is Las Flores Canyon and Las Flores Mesa, two great neighborhoods that unfortunately were heavily impacted by the Palisades fire. Luckily, this architectural home was saved. Duke's restaurant on the right-hand side served as a command post for the fire department and the other first responders while the fire was active. This Malibu institution has served Hawaiian-themed fare for nearly 30 years. The good news is that the building survived the fire, obviously. The bad news is that the rains we had a few weeks after the fire caused a flash flood, which brought in all sorts of mud and debris flow into the restaurant. The inundated cafe is currently undergoing repair and will be back to serving Malibu and the community at large very soon. Just the frame of that home survived, which is more than I can say for its neighbors. Moonshadow's restaurant, a Malibu staple for over 40 years, unfortunately burned down right here. They served great food and had a great tiki themed patio perched over the Pacific Ocean. This restaurant will be truly missed. The fire took its walls, but it can never take away the memories, laughter, and love shared within them. All this on the beach side are where the homes of Big Rock Beach once stood. On the land side to the left, you'll see Big Rock Mesa. Almost every home here was lost. Just Big Rock alone lost more than 500 homes. This is now Las Tunas Beach, and if you notice those pillars on the ground still standing, those are called caissons, and it's kind of reassuring to see those still intact, since those are the pillars that hold up the entire home after all. Designed to go tens of dozens of feet down into solid bedrock, these foundational caissons are meant to support the entire structure against a once in 100-year storm. It's nice to know they can also withstand a once in 100-year wildfire, too. On the left here, you'll see the lot where the Real Inn used to be. The Real Inn was a great casual dining spot, great atmosphere. You got to choose your fish, any fish, and then you got to choose how you wanted that fish to be prepared. Paired with generous wine pours and affordable pricing on pitchers of craft beer, I know I'll miss this place, and I hope they're able to rebuild really soon. Mastro's Ocean Club also survived, thankfully, and I believe they also used the lot for a command post for first responders throughout the fire. On the left-hand side, you're now seeing Sunset Mesa. This is one of my favorite neighborhoods in all of Malibu because it was just like a normal suburban neighborhood with single-family homes, usually under 3,000 square feet. A lot of this neighborhood's residents bought decades ago when property on the coast wasn't as expensive. In fact, it was seen as less desirable than homes near the city. The homeowners of the roughly 600 homes that burnt down here will be some of the worst hit financially of the Palisades fire victims. Not to say that the other fire victims are better off, they're not, but the barrier to entry into Sunset Mesa was a little lower than, say, Big Rock or Las Flores Mesa or the other Pacific Palisades neighborhoods. 4,500-year-old pots, 2,000-year-old Greek artifacts, and 1,000-year-old Roman artifacts all call the beautiful Getty Villa in Pacific Palisades home. As you can see, the firefighters and first responders really made sure that this architecturally and historically important property remains safe from fire damage. So far, you've witnessed the devastation that swept through Malibu, where approximately 1,500 structures were lost. Now we're approaching Pacific Palisades, which suffered even greater destruction. Here, around 5,000 structures were reduced to rubble, an impact you'll see in the final moments of this video. Nearly the entire seaside oasis has been wiped out. I'll leave you in silence now so you can fully absorb the sheer scale of the rebuilding ahead. Here you see the Bel Air Bay Club, which is one of the most majestic pieces of property in the area. You have views all the way to Point Doom to the north and all the way south to the Palos Verdes Peninsula. That's known as the Queen's Necklace, and I happen to have my Christmas parties every year here. I'm so glad that this property was saved. Thank you to the National Guard. They're still holding it down for all the residents. Despite the cold weather, they're camping in tents and working grueling hours to help this community recover. Your dedication and sacrifice do not go unnoticed. Thank you for your service. On the left-hand side, you see the Pacific Palisades mobile estates. Unfortunately, the whole complex is burned to smithereens. We're now approaching Will Rogers State Beach and the conclusion of this video. To those who have endured the unimaginable pain of losing loved ones or their homes, my heart is with you during this incredibly difficult time. Even in the wake of such devastation, the resilience of Pacific Palisades and Malibu remains unshaken. Together, we will rebuild stronger than ever before. Thank you for watching this video to the end. If there's anything I can do for you, real estate related or not, feel free to reach out to me using the contact info in the description of this video below.